Do you ever think about looking at the world from a different perspective? How often have you sat in this chapel and just looked straight ahead? Perhaps once in a while we should look up. Think about it. We all look at the world from our own perspective, our own worldview and set of belief systems. Yet unless we question our belief systems and challenge them by understanding another belief system, we can never really deepen our own understanding of where we are and what we are and who we believe in and what we believe in. When you look at the world from a different perspective, you suddenly see things differently. For instance, I had no idea that the top of this chapel had a... But perhaps I shouldn't finish that sentence. Perhaps I should just invite you, next time you're in chapel, to look up. With this in mind, I'm going to do a series of chapel services or reflections this term on what Christianity is all about. We'll start with them online, but hopefully by the end of term we'll be meeting again in chapel. These reflections or services will say this is what Christianity is at its most fundamental all about. Though along the way I hope to make you think about issues that are relevant to you. Now, I'm not expecting you to agree with or believe the same things I do, but at least by the end, so long as you listen carefully, you'll understand what Christianity stands for. You see, I have a sneaking suspicion that some of you may have rejected Christianity because, well, your parents reject Christianity, or because your friends reject Christianity, or because you think it's unfashionable, or not because you understand what it really stands for, have weighed up the pros and cons and then decide against it. So this is me, inviting you on a journey to explore the Christian faith and decide, do you think it's true or not? Do you think it's relevant or not? Do you think it's worthwhile following or not? Let's start at the beginning. Genesis chapter 1. First this, God created the heavens and earth. All you see, all you don't see, earth was a soup of nothingness, a bottomless emptiness, an inky blackness. God's Spirit brooded like a bird over the watery abyss. God spoke, light, and light appeared. God saw that light was good and separated light from dark. God named the light day. He named the dark night. It was evening. It was morning. Day 1. Now slip to day 6. God spoke. Let us make human beings in our image. Make them reflecting our nature, so they can be responsible for the fish in the sea, the birds in the air, the cattle, and yes, earth itself, and every animal that moves on the face of the earth. God created human beings. He created them godlike, reflecting God's nature. He created them, male and female. God blessed them. Prosper, reproduce, fill earth, take charge. Be responsible for fish in the sea and birds in the air, for every living thing that moves on the face of earth. Then God said, I've given you every sort of seed-bearing plant on earth and every kind of fruit-bearing tree, given them to you for food, to all animals and all birds, everything that moves and breathes. I give whatever grows out of the ground for food. And there it was. God looked over everything he had made. It was so good, so very good. It was evening. It was morning. Day 6. When people read this passage, they tend to focus on one of two things, both of which actually are dead ends. They either read it literally as 6 physical 24-hour periods, or they'll read the phrase, take charge of the animals, as meaning we can do whatever we like to them. Now, if you read it literally, it paints you into a corner as either believing something totally unscientific or rejecting it as a load of rubbish. Instead, there's a third way, which is to see it as an allegory that contains truth worth listening to. In the same way, if you see this passage as saying we can do whatever we like to the world, it's no wonder people reject Christianity in a world of ecological breakdown. But that's not what it's saying. Actually, this passage has 3 important messages. Firstly, it says that we are stewards of God's creation. It's not ours to do with as we wish. It's God's, and our job is to take care of this beautiful world on his behalf. Like when you borrow your friend's PlayStation, you hopefully take care of it really well, because otherwise your friend will be really mad if you break it. Now, we've gone and broken God's world, and we need to fix it and care for it. Secondly, it says that we and the whole of creation are amazing. The passage finishes with God looked over everything he had made. It was so good, so very good. When you look at how intricate everything is, how it all works so amazingly together, it's worth standing back once in a while and just saying, wow. I love the Brian Cox videos on the wonders of the universe, or David Attenborough's A Perfect Planet. Those shows are just putting the flesh on the bones of what the Bible passage talks about all along, which is that where we live is amazing, precious, good. We need to take care of it. And thirdly, beyond and through it all, there is God. At the heart of the Christian message is the belief that God made this incredible place, whether in 6 days or 6 billion years, it really doesn't matter. What's important is that he cares about what he's made. That includes you and me. So we're stewards of this beautiful creation. This is amazing. You are amazing. We are all amazing. And God cares about all of it. But of course, that's only the start of the journey. Next week, we'll think about how things have gone wrong and what we can do about it. May the God who created all things, you included, give you knowledge of his love for you and all his universe. Amen.